Good evening there, y'all. It's meteorologist Frank Strait here with a quick weather overview for the next few days around the Carolinas. Wednesday's been a quiet, though pretty chilly day across the Carolinas. We saw the sun out across the region, not much in the way of clouds overhead, but if you look closely at satellite pictures, you'll see that snow cover over the mountains is showing up. It's melting away during the day, with many areas getting above freezing and with the sun out. But we did see a good bit of snow. Most populated areas only saw a couple of inches at most, but in the higher spots and favored locations for northwest snow events like we just had, as much as 15 inches was reported, that in Graham County, North Carolina, along the Tennessee line. Next thing that we're keeping an eye on is a storm that's over the southern plains states. You can see it swirling here on the satellite pictures. That'll be slowly moving eastward, and it looks as though it'll bring us some rain at the end of the week. Let's see how this comes together here. Looking at the upper air charts, again, here's our storm over the southern plains states, which will make slow progress eastward, and it'll be over the Tennessee Valley by Friday night, which is where we are here. And by that point, we should see rain spreading over most of the Carolinas. Some areas might see a thunderstorm where it's warm enough in South Carolina and eastern North Carolina Friday night. And then that moves on Saturday, and behind it, some cooler air does come in for the weekend, but not as cold as what we have been dealing with over the last couple of days. That being said, notice there's a storm that's starting to dive southward out of Canada at this point. We're looking at Sunday morning here. As we go into the first part of next week, that storm system digs in and will be delivering another shot of some pretty chilly air to the Carolinas. It won't have much moisture to work with, but there'll be a little snow in the mountains. Not a whole lot, though. Most places will just see flurries. And that moves on through the middle of next week, and if you believe the GFS model that I'm showing you here, by the end of next week, we see it up a ridge, resulting in a warm-up over the eastern part of the country. But most other models don't look like that. Here's Thursday on the Canadian, for example, which shows still a pretty substantial upper trough instead over the eastern part of the country. And if that's the case, we're going to stay chilly, and I lean toward this being the way things work out. Now, let's look at some surface charts here. And this is Thursday afternoon, evening, with our storm moving through the Gulf of Mexico and lower Mississippi Valley, not causing a lot of rain at this point. But going through Thursday night into Friday, that storm system starts to pull some moisture out of the south, out of the Gulf of Mexico and Caribbean, and also gains some intensity as it moves into the Carolinas Friday into Friday night. So many areas are going to see some rain. It's going to get a little windy too, especially in the mountains, but it doesn't look as though it'll be cold enough for us to see much in the way of snow. If anything at all, you'd have to be way up high, 5,000 feet or so, I think, to see any snow in the mountains. But most areas see some rain again. Thunderstorms could be embedded in that in much of South Carolina and eastern North Carolina as this storm system pushes through and drags cold front through the area. Behind that, it looks as though Saturday morning is going to be wet in eastern North Carolina and maybe in the mountains too, but again, likely not white this time. But Saturday does look to be a windy and a chillier day, thanks to some cooler air coming in, those gusty winds blowing, especially in the mountains. Sunday looks to be quiet, though cool, and then that next storm system comes in Monday, and it is moving through Monday afternoon into the evening and producing a little bit of snow in the mountains, mostly just flurries for most places, but the favored northwesterly flow locations can once again see some accumulations, though in this case likely only a couple or 3 inches at most. It also looks to be kind of breezy and chilly Monday night into Tuesday behind this storm system. And again, if you believe the GFS that I'm showing you, we get a warm-up later next week, but other models look different and might even bring another little weak storm system with some mountain snow late next week. So we, again, keep in mind we do have some differences. Do need to make a brief mention of the tropics. Thankfully, the hurricane season is done. A crazy, busy hurricane season that we've had, but we are still watching at least a couple of areas. One, this storm that's over the eastern part of the Atlantic. It won't have any impact on us. Also, some of the models have at times the last couple of days been showing some shenanigans in the Caribbean. We'll have to keep an eye on that area, but I think that's a long shot for us to see another development there, at least in the short term. That's it for now. We have a great interview with Trish Palmer of the National Weather Service GSP office coming up. So with that, we move on to Scott.